Hey everyone, and welcome to my week 3 video on the October problem of the month. So as you all hopefully know by now, your final draft of this problem of the month is due at the end of October. That's in 2 weeks. This is the third week. Next week will be the last week and the final week. However, last week you don't have anything new to do. Your only task for the last week is just to finalize this, finish revising it, and make sure you have a great write-up to hand in so you can get a great grade. So hopefully in the first week, you worked on these 6 getting started questions. If you haven't done them yet, make sure you get to them as soon as possible because at this point they are 2 weeks late. Then last week, you worked on the claim and evidence sections of your write-up. If you need help with those, you can go and watch my video from last week or my video from 2 weeks ago for the getting started questions. In this video, we're going to be talking about how to complete the last section of the write-up, the reasoning section. So this section asks you to justify your answer using a different method. Basically what this is saying is if you used a graph to answer and explain your work up here, then you need to use a different way of explaining it here. And in this video, we're going to be talking about 3 different ways you could solve it: visually, numerically, or algebraically. If you haven't figured out how to solve it at all, this could actually help you solve it because we're going to talk about different ways you might be able to solve the problem. So I don't want to show you exactly how to solve this problem. Instead, I'm going to show you how to solve a very similar problem. Here is a selling fireworks problem. It's a problem I made just for the example. And basically, you're starting a company selling sparklers in the park. It costs $8 for a permit to sell sparklers. I don't think this is true. I made this number up. It costs $2 to buy each sparkler online. You have to buy them, of course, first before you can sell them. And you decide to sell sparklers for $4 each. Now, in the actual problem, you get to choose the price you sell the shirts for. But in this one, I'm telling you, you're selling them for $4 each. Your goal is to find the break-even point. It's the same goal we have in the problem of the month with the t-shirts. And we're going to look at 3 different ways of doing this: numerically, algebraically, and visually. So first, a reminder on what is the break-even point. It's the point where everything it costs to sell the fireworks, that would be all of your expenses, are finally less than or equal to, sorry, not less than, it's when they're equal to the revenue. So the break-even point is the point where expenses are equal to revenue. Expenses are all the bad things. They're the things you have to pay. In this problem, they are the $8 for a permit to sell fireworks. You have to pay that. It's the $2 to buy each sparkler online. You have to pay this. If you don't sell them, you're losing money. The revenue, on the other hand, is the money you're getting. It's the money you get from selling things. It's the good stuff. You want the revenue as big as possible. You want the expenses as low as possible. In this case, the revenue is $4 for each sparkler you sell. So you want to find the break-even point. That's where you sell, you're selling the sparklers and you've made enough money that your revenue is the same as your expenses. So you haven't made any money, but you haven't lost any money either. So we're going to talk about how to do this numerically first. So one way to do it numerically is to look at, okay, what would it cost if I buy and sell 1 sparkler? Well, let's see. My total expenses are going to be equal to the $8 for the permit plus the $2 for the sparkler I bought online. So that's going to be a total of $10. My total revenue is I sell it for $4. I only have 1, so it's just $4. So right now you can see my expenses, $10, are greater than my revenue, $4. All right, what would happen if I sold 2 sparklers? Well, my expenses are getting more expensive. I still have to pay the $8 for a permit, right? But now I have to pay $2 times 2 because I have to buy 2 sparklers online. 2 times 2 is 4. This is going to be a total of $12 of expenses. On the other hand, my revenue is now $4 for each sparkler, but fortunately I sold 2. So it's 4 times 2 equals a total of $8. Now you can keep going one at a time. 1 sparkler, 2 sparklers, 3 sparklers if you want. This could take a while. You can jump ahead. You could just guess around, guess and check. One way I like to organize this is I like to make a table. So I'm going to go ahead and insert a table here. And my table is going to have three pieces: sparklers sold, total expenses, and total revenue. So remember, the expenses are the bad things. These are the things that cost us money. The revenue is the good stuff. This is the money we're making from selling stuff. So in the first example, we sold one sparkler. The total expenses were $10. Remember, the $8 from the permit plus the $2 from the sparkler. So total expenses 10, revenue $4. I'm just getting these from up here. Now we'll do it with two sparklers. Total expenses 8 plus 2 times 2, $12. And total revenue, $8. So we can see they are getting closer. $10 and $4, not very close. $12 and $8, a little closer. So let's try 3 sparklers. Now again, the expenses, we have to spend $8 for the permit and $2 for each sparkler online. So that's 3 times $2. So 2 times 3, that's going to be a total of $14. Now the revenue is going to just be 4 times the 3 sparklers we sold, which in this case is $12. Now they're getting very close. The revenue and the total expenses only $2 apart. So let's try 4 sparklers. It's going to be $8 plus 2 times 4, because now we had to buy 4 sparklers online, for a total of $16. And then 4 times 4, because we sold each of the 4 sparklers for $4 each, for a total of $16. So here we can see 16 expenses, 16 revenue. They are equal. So this is the break-even point. This is the point where the total expenses are equal to the total revenue. And this is one way of finding the solution, making this table. So hopefully that helped you. Maybe this is the way you already did. If you already did it that way, we're about to look at 2 other ways you could solve this. So one way I've talked about before is solving it algebraically. We have this pattern in this table, but we can express this with variable expressions, right? So we know from we have to write expressions for the expenses and the revenue. Okay, what are the expenses? Well, we know the expenses are equal to that $8 permit and the sparklers online. So our expenses are equal to our permit plus sparklers online. Let me just color code this. So how much does the permit cost? Well, we know the permit from above is $8. How much do the sparklers cost? We know, again, from the problem, that the sparklers are $2 each online. So that's going to be plus $2. But this is going to be 2 times the number of sparklers we bought. So I'm going to go ahead and put X to represent the number of sparklers we bought. And we'll make a note of that here. X equals sparklers sold. So our total expenses is represented by $8 plus 2X. And you can see this is the same pattern we were following up here. When we sold 3 sparklers, we had 8 plus 2 times 3. When we sold 4 sparklers, we had 8 plus 2 times 4. Now it's just the same, except it's 8 plus 2x, because we don't know how many we've sold. This is why we're using this variable. All right, now let's look at the revenue. How much money do we make? Well, this one, it turns out, is easier. It's just the cost, the price, really, times number sold. Well, fortunately, we know the price. We're selling them for $4 each. And the number sold, we decided was X. This is just going to be 4X. Again, same thing we were doing up here. 4 times the number sold. Now, we want these 2 expressions to be equal. So we're going to write an equation. 8 expenses equals revenue. And then we're going to plug in the expressions we got up here. So expenses, we know, are 8 plus 2x. And revenue, we know, is 4x. And now we just need to do some algebra to solve this. So we'll go ahead, subtract 2x on both sides. That's going to cancel out this 2x we'll cancel out this. So we'll be left with 8. And 4x minus 2x is going to leave us with 2x. Now we're just going to divide by 2. Divide by 2 to get x alone. 8 divided by 2 is 4. 4 equals x. And that's the number of sparklers we would need to sell to reach our break-even point. And what do you know? It's the exact same we got up here. So 2 different ways of solving it, but you get the same answer. Now we're going to look at a third way of solving it. This third way is visually, and for this, we're going to use this coordinate plane. So I'm going to need to shift the way I'm going to need to be able to annotate my screen for this. Basically, we're going to visually represent the revenue and the expenses. So what's our revenue? Well, first let's label this graph. This axis down here, the x-axis, is going to be an axis representing number of sparklers sold. And the y-axis up here is going to represent money. It's either going to represent the money spent or the money we made. So first, let's represent how much money we make for our revenue. That one's pretty easy. We know that for every 1 sparkler we sell, we make $4. So 1 sparkler, $4. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. If we sell 2 sparklers, it's going to be $8. Let me just label this 4, 8. So 2 sparklers, $8. 3 sparklers, it's going to go off $12. And of course, 0 sparklers, $0. So this line represents our revenue. And in fact, we can make a line to show how our revenue will go up. You could write an equation for this line. This line would be y equals 4x. Now we want to also graph our expenses. We'll do this in red. So let me switch over here. We know to sell 1 sparkler, how much did it cost us? Well, it cost us $8 to get the permit and $2 to buy it. And again, if you don't remember, check up here. Sorry, this is going to slide up with us. Total expenses for 1 sold, $10. For 2 sold, $12. So this is going to help us. If I can get this back. It was $2. And so again, now we would have a point up here for 2 sparklers sold, $2. And obviously I did not make a big enough graph, but if you go ahead and keep plotting these points, you'll find that eventually the green line intersects with the red line. And where are they going to intersect? Well, we can actually see that ourselves as well. So this would be here. Of course, the green one will keep going. You can't see exactly where they'll intersect, but if you had a bigger graph, you would see that they would eventually intersect at 4, the same place we found as our break-even point. One thing you can do, if you're thinking, okay, but I can't do a graph big enough to do this, well, you don't need to, because you can just change the labels. Maybe instead, this is still the number of sparklers sold, and this is still money, but now we're going to label them a little bit differently. The money is going to start, this is going to be $2. This is going to be $4. This will be $6. So we're counting by 2s on the money side. 8. This is 10. 14. 16. And for the number of sparklers sold, we'll still just go 1, 2, 3, 4. So you can change the scale this way if you want. And we'll do the same graphing we did before. So we'll do the revenue first. 1 sparkler sold is $4. 2 sparklers sold, $8. 3 sparklers sold, $12. 4 sparklers sold, $16. 5 sparklers sold would be $20. You can see we have this nice straight line. You could write an equation for it if you wanted, but you don't have to. You can just graph it like that. Now we'll do the same thing, and this represents the revenue. Now we'll do the same thing for the cost. So remember we talked about how it was $8 plus $2 for each one sold. So if we sell 0, it still costs us $8. If we sell 1, it's $2 more to buy that one. If we sell 2, it's another $2 to buy that one. If we sell 3, another $2. And again, you could just look at your table because you did all of this math before if you made the table. And we know when we sell 4 sparklers, it's $16. And so again, we can graph our line here. And we see this red line is the expenses. And we see that the point where the revenue and the expenses cross each other, that is the break-even point, which just so happens to be, and I've kind of covered it up, but this is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 sparklers sold and $16 of total money. I hope this video was helpful. Once you've solved it one way, you can solve it a second way. Choose one of these ways or choose your own way if you want, and then go ahead and explain how you solved it in the reasoning section of your write-up. Once you've done that, you're basically all done. I'm going to keep giving you comments and keep giving you feedback, and you'll be all set to do a great job on the revision and submit your final draft at the end of the month. Make sure to do everything you want feedback on before then so I can give you feedback before the month is over. All right, everyone, have a great day. I hope this video was helpful. And as always, if you have any questions, send me an email.